Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel, Stuffed Balloons from A to Z. I'm Marlene Potts. Welcome back if you have joined me before. If not, welcome if it's your first time, and subscribe if you want. I also have, besides this YouTube channel, I have a Facebook page, Stuffed Balloons from A to Z, that you're welcome to follow. I post a lot of things there that's where you'll see things first. And I have a Facebook page, Stuffed Balloons from A to Z with Marlene Potts, and you're welcome to join that. I will approve you, if you go on there. Tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about toppers. People always ask me, how do I attach them to the top? If you haven't seen one of my videos where I've done a complete one, a lot of times I just do a lot of the ideas and I only do one or two stuffed balloons during the show. But tonight I'm actually going to go through a basic topper that I see most of you using, and I hope this is going to help. What I'm actually going to be making is this, okay? And this, of course, I see a ton of people making this to put on top. And so we're going to start very, very simple. This is the simplest one you can do. I use 5-inch balloons on top. I have seen people do the 9-inch. I think it makes it look off balance for me. That's my own personal preference. So I'm going to use 4.5-inch balloons and 4-inch balloons, okay? So we'll get to that. But the first thing we're gonna do is inflate our foil balloon. This is just a regular 18-inch foil balloon. I know you guys have been working with these. You can either use nitrogen to fill these, or you can use a hand pump. Okay? Now, the only reason you don't want to use, if you're doing premium, if you have a premium inflator, those are cold air inflators, and you can use those to fill these. But if you're using a regular inflator or like an Amazon inflator, they get very hot. And what happens is when you've filled a couple of these, and since we're working with Valentine's Day balloons, you know that you could fill these a month before if you want. Put them in big bags, throw them in your garage or your basement, and you'll be ready, good to go when the holiday comes around, or the bunny heads, that type of thing. But if you're consistently filling the balloons with a regular air inflator, the air gets warm, and you're filling this with warm air. So you're gonna see it deflate. It's gonna sit on the floor, and probably after 5 or 10 minutes, you'll start to see it deflate, and you'll think there's a problem with the balloon, but it's not. It's just the hot air that you put inside there. So we always suggest either the hand pump, a cool air inflator, or nitrogen, okay? Those won't be affected by the temperature, and then you'll be good. Now, that being said, a lot of people ask, what happens when I take it outside? Okay, even if it's air-filled, it's going to be affected by the temperature. So if I took this balloon from an air-conditioned, if I filled this in air conditioning and I took it outside in 80-degree weather, the chances are, and I've made it hard, the chances are it's probably going to pop. This is what's happening when you get Party City balloons. This is why they pop. When you are in air conditioning and you're taking something outside and it's going to stay outside, not just, like from here to your car, you want to underinflate it and make it a little bit soft so that it has room to expand, okay? And not noticeably. It doesn't have to be noticeably underinflated, just enough so it's got some space. If you go to like a supermarket or whatever, they tend to really overinflate their foils, so you can't do this. They're like rock hard, and you don't want to have them that hard, okay? So I hope that answers some of those questions. So this is the 18-inch foil that we're going to use. I am using 8 5-inch balloons, okay? I know on the recorder there, you probably can't see that very well, but I'm just using 8 4-inch balloons. That's it, okay? Or I'm sorry, 5-inch balloons. I apologize, 5-inch balloons. These happen to be Qualitex, but you can use any brand. The better the brand, the longer your balloons are gonna last, and the better the color is. So it's not that you can't use a balloon from Amazon and they're really, really cheap, but you're gonna see a difference in the color tones. They're not really as good, and you'll see some crazy kind of like mix marks on the balloons when you inflate them. So the better quality balloon, the better the ink, the better weight that the latex is, so everything lasts just a little bit longer. But that's completely up to you, okay? I am using a Legenda inflator tonight. For my 5-inch, this is, if you can see that, I also use these to make my curly cues. This is really what it's for. This is for entertainers and twisters. It has a battery life, so you can see I don't have it plugged in. So you charge it and then you can just use it for, depending on how much you're using it, for 5 or 6 hours without it, or I don't want to say, it depends how much you're using it, right? If you're using it continuously, it's probably only gonna last a couple hours, but if you're kind of coming and going, you know, around your house or whatever, it's probably gonna last probably 5 or 6 hours, okay? I have 2 sizers, because I talked about having a 4-inch balloon and a 4.5-inch balloon. This is gonna give me just a little bit of design technique, right? Like I just want a little bit bigger quad, and then I'm gonna use a little bit smaller quad, okay? I am going to inflate, I have a little pattern going on here, so I'm gonna inflate the balloon, and now, I can program this so that the seconds are perfect, okay? So if you have that type of inflator where you can, you know that like 1.1 is a 4.5-inch balloon, great, or 4-inch, whatever, but I'm just kind of showing you both ways. So we would take this through our sizer. See, like I've done so many, it's very, you know, once you've done enough, let's see, I know that's gonna be too small. You almost don't even need the sizer because you can eyeball them. Now, the difference between a do-it-yourselfer and a professional balloon company is sizing. Even with helium balloons, if you don't size the balloons correctly, you look like a do-it-yourselfer. And so sizing has really set the professional balloon company or person apart from the Party City, the, you know, garage do-it-yourselfer person. And so that's one reason why we size things. So now you can see that I'm holding 3 in one hand and 1 in the other. This is because when I tie balloons, I tie 4 together at a time. A lot of people think, oh my God, I could never do that. That's crazy. But if you can tie 2 together, why can't you tie 4 together? There's no difference, right? I'm doing the same exact technique, right? So I'm crossing over like I'm tying my shoe, and I'm gonna cross over again. And then I have 4 tied together. So the reasons that I do this is A, it's less tying, right? So tying the balloons can be hard on your hands, so it's less tying. If one of these pops, 2 of them don't come apart, right? If one pops, my 3 are still on there, or 1 deflates, whatever it is, okay? And they're much tighter together. So that's some of the reasons that we tie 4 together. So the next size I'm gonna do is my 4.5-inch. Okay. Oh, you know what? This is actually a little overinflated because my sizer is off a little bit. Okay. I took a sizer without my little, we have a little tab that we put on our sizers to make them 1/2 inches, and this one doesn't have it. So these are probably a little overinflated, but that's okay. I'm not worried as much about them being overinflated for this as I am them being all the same size, okay? I'm taking 3, I'm crossing them over. Again, I'm just tying my shoe, but I just have 3, okay? My next thing that I would do, a lot of people do this differently, but I'm actually gonna tie this quad to this quad. The reason I do that, again, is because if I lose one balloon, I'm not losing the whole quad, okay? And so I'm just taking one neck and I'm tying one neck to one neck. It's also much tighter on top of your stuffed balloon, okay? A little more control, you'll have less wobble. And I want this little cute little design here, so I'm gonna go this way. Sorry, just trying to line up my balloons. Okay, so I'm making like almost like a little swirl, okay? So I got it, it's super, super tight. And I can make these, again, it's the first week in February, I could easily be making these and putting these in bags and getting ready to decorate the top of my stuffed balloons, okay? So there are 2 ways that you can attach, at least for me, okay, that you can attach this to your quad, your 18-inch balloon. One of the things is to tie it. You take the neck and you tie it directly to a neck, okay? The reason I like this is it keeps it pretty tight, and if it wasn't tight enough, I would wrap the neck around the balloons, right? So I would just take it and I would wrap it around these balloons like this, and I would really get it in there. Whoops. What do we got? A pink? See, I told you I overinflated those a little bit. And I had another pink balloon over here. What did I do with it? Here we go. Okay. So, also my table is sharp right here. Now, so you could tie that. See? So I lost one balloon, but look at my thing is completely intact, right? That's one of the main reasons that we do it that way. So now I'm just going to tie another one in to replace that guy. So that was a good lesson learned. Okay. Again, I want to get my pattern. Okay. So I like tying these in there because it's very secure and it's easy to get them tight, because if they're wobbly like this a little bit, I can wrap it around the balloons, the top layer of balloons, and it gets it in there really nice and tight. If I'm giving it to a customer right away, that's what I would do. But for a holiday, what if I don't sell that balloon? Now I have to either untie the neck, which kind of can take a while, and I don't want to do that. Or sometimes you'll get the customer that says, well, I love that stuffed balloon, but I like that balloon on top. All right, easy fix for that. And this is what we call the half hitch. And if you've ever done cats in the cradle, you're just making cats in the cradle. So if you've ever done that, but I'm going to show you up front here. How can I show you this? An easy way. Let me come around here. First, I think I'm going to show you on a pen. Okay. So if I had a pen and I had my rubber band and this was the neck of my balloon, you take the rubber band like this, right? So it hangs over the neck and you put one end through the other end. Okay, they call this the half hitch. So can you see that? Okay, just like this. Actually, if you just took my Valentine's Day video, I showed you how to do a heart like this. This can make a heart. So, okay, so just like that. And then on the other side, I would stretch the rubber band and I would make the same thing. So I've just literally gone through the loop again. I've made another loop. It's hard to show. I apologize. Okay, so I take this, I stretch it. I've got my fingers like this. I'm turning them just like cats in the cradle, and I put them together, and see this one and this one, when I roll that off my fingers, it makes a loop. And now that can be attached to something else. So this I'm going to attach to the necks of my balloons. I'm going to use at least 2 necks, and this is going to hold my foil on here. So if somebody does want a different foil, or it comes to the end of the holiday and you have these left over, they're very easy to get off, okay? This is also an easy way you can leave it on there really, really tight. So since this is just a demonstration, I don't want to tie it on there. I don't want to waste my balloon, so I'm going to put it on my neck, right? So I've made my half hitch. Now I'm doing my cats in my cradle. I'm rolling it over and I'm pinching my fingers together and I'm rolling that rubber band right off my fingers. So I have a loop, and I'm going to attach that not to the top cluster. I'm going to attach it to 2 of the necks on the bottom cluster. Because again, I want it to be really tight, right? Okay. Now this is a very big rubber band for this, and you're going to do this so it's really, really tight on the necks. So I'm going to show you up close. See how that rubber band is? I'm going to show you from a couple different angles, okay? And then inside there, I don't know if you could see that. Inside there, I've got the balloon around two necks. I'm trying to show you, but I'm no professional at this, folks. I'm just a balloon artist. I am not a YouTube girl. I'm not a video person in any way, shape, or form. So because I've used such a long rubber band, see how my balloon is kind of floppy? So just like you would fishing line or curling ribbon, however you're making your quads now. I'm going through the down and around, okay, till I get it as tight as I want it on top. And for me, that's still a little wobbly, so I'm gonna give it another good go around. Okay. No. And so we have a certain size, I think it's number 64, that we use for all of our decorating. So that's why our rubber bands are so big. And I don't buy a special rubber band for this. I just use that same one. So there you go, okay? And this is on there, right? This is good. Like, you don't have to worry about this. This isn't going anywhere, okay? So let's get our stuffed balloon, okay? As many of you know from my other YouTube videos, or if you've taken any of my classes live or any of my training videos, I like to use a safe tight disc on top of my balloon. This is a little disc. It's called Safe, S-A-F-E, tight, T-I-T-E, and it looks like this when it's on top of the balloon. Now, you can see that it doesn't sit flat, right? So this disc is meant for a 7 to 16 inch balloon. This is not made for stuffing balloons. This is something that I came up with 30 years ago because teaching people how to tie 16-inch balloons that only worked for the holidays, you know, like temporary staff, was very difficult. And you know, we do 600 or 700 balloons for Valentine's Day, and it gets tough to tie all those balloons. Also, I find that when you tie the balloons, if you're doing like liquor and something heavy and you can't move the balloon, it's a little bit harder to tie because your hand is in like an awkward position. So I like these discs. This is how they fit. You can see that, you know, the balloon itself, and these will last for months, okay? So you can see that the neck of my balloon is kind of off, right? This is the clip. Right there, you just wrap it around the clip, and it's a little crooked. See how it's sticking up there? And that's okay. That's good, that's fine, okay? So one of the things that I like to do, you can see my fishing line, okay? I should have made a stand, but I didn't, is I use a lot of curling ribbon. I like curling ribbon. If they don't have curling ribbon, unless I'm doing something very dainty, to me the balloon looks empty. So I use curling ribbon a lot, and curling ribbon helps you keep your quads on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 2 pieces of ribbon on this pack, and this pack has seen better days, but we're gonna use it. And I'm just gonna tie it in a knot underneath my quad, okay? This is good ribbon to have too. This is a 3/8 heart ribbon. Really, really nice. Okay, just adds a little extra dimension. Okay, and then I'm gonna do one underneath here. And I love the clip for this reason. Look at it, it gives me something to really substantially attach things to, okay? Really, really, so substantially. So if I just had a knot there, it would flop more, right? It's gonna move more. And I have to tie underneath the knot, which is where you should never be, because that's how you put holes in your stuffed balloon. So if you're knotting your stuffed balloon and you're tying underneath the knot, that's a no-no. You have to tie on top of the knot, because everything you do can potentially put a little pinhole into your stuffed balloon, and you don't want to do that. So that being said, and you have that big neck, it's just going to be flopping around. It's very hard to attach a quad to that, or a great topper. You know, some of these big giant ones we make. So now I have my topper, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the topper on there. I'm going to bring up 2 pieces of curling ribbon. I'm going to tie it, okay? I'm gonna show you, because you're not gonna be able to see this in the balloon. So I'm gonna just put a tie in there, like I'm tying my shoe again. And I'm gonna tie it tight, and then I'm gonna push it down, and I'm gonna tighten it some more, okay? You can, and then I'm gonna tie a knot, and that's gonna be it. Now, I know some people will take a couple of these and they'll wrap it around in there. I don't find that to be necessary, but if that is better for you, that's okay. So, but again, because I tie my balloons together in 4s and everything, this is very, very tight. I don't really have to worry about very much. So I'm taking up that ribbon, okay? I'm taking up this other ribbon. on the other side. I'm going to tie a knot. And I am going to the tippy top. I'm not going to just the first cluster. I am going to the tippy top. I'm pressing down. Okay, I'm going to press down, and I want to do that so I can make sure I can get it really, really tight. Okay. And then I'm going to put a knot in it. So I'm going to tie it again. You know, if you wanted to go around, you know, do your thing, whatever makes you feel better. Okay. But that is on there. There's no tape. There's no nothing, right? The more tape you put on, by the time you tape your base on, which I don't do, I just give them the base and they put it on the base. And you tape all this, you could be getting a lot of poppage just from that. And I see a lot of people overinflate their balloons, and that's why things are popping, because there's just too much tape. You know, this tape is pulling this way and this tape is pulling that way. You're bound to have some sort of poppage, especially if you're traveling with it, okay? So that's it, guys. Simple, right? So if you have a question, please leave it in the comments. I always try to go through, maybe not every day, but I definitely try to go through and answer all your questions the best that I can. I appreciate you showing up and liking my page and listening to what I have to say. I hope that it helps you somewhere along the way. A lot of you could be shaking your heads going, oh my God, I would never do it that way. And that's okay. This is just what I do. It doesn't mean you have to do it that way. I like to say after 30 years, we do a lot of conventions and we teach, and I go to classes myself. And, you know, do I go to a class and learn a whole new thing? No. But if I can take one nugget out of that class and apply it to what I'm doing, sometimes that is a game changer. So if you can find those nuggets on my channel, I'm really happy. So thank you so much and have a beautiful day.